Alrighty.
Danielle, yeah, did you want them to ask questions during or after? I forgot to ask you.
After.
Okay.
Good morning and welcome to the final, but definitely not the last time we will host these webinars for the SBA Federal Contract Series in partnership with the U.S. Small Business Administration and the UTRGV Procurement Technical Assistance Center. My name is Danielle Rodriguez, and it is my great pleasure as the Director of Marketing and Programs for your local Chamber of Commerce to moderate this event and welcome you for joining us today. This webinar is being recorded and live streamed on our Facebook page. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please do not hesitate to leave your questions on the Zoom chat, the Zoom Q&A feature, or the Facebook comment section. We will be asking the questions at the end of both presentations. This webinar will be uploaded to the Brownsville YouTube page if you would like to go back and review the information provided, but we definitely encourage you to contact the presenters themselves as they will be able to better assist you. During the Women-Owned Small Business Program, or also known as WOSB, and System for Award Management webinar, we will be learning about the benefits of being a women-owned small business certified firm and finding out if you qualify for the WOSB program, as federal government's goal is to award at least 5% of all federal contracting dollars to women-owned small businesses each year. This portion of the webinar will be presented by Gilbert Solis, who is the Business Opportunity Specialist of the Lower Rio Grande Valley SBA District Office. Later on in the webinar, we will hear from Orlando Castañeda, the Senior Business Advisor of the UTRGV PTAC, who will be speaking about the System for Award Management. Gilbert, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Danielle, and appreciate that opening. And I want to welcome everyone to today's webinar, and our topic is Women-Owned Small Business Federal Contracting Program. As Danielle has stated, that each year, federal government spends on the average $500 billion through these general contracts for goods and services. And SBA offers these small business certificates or certifications to assist women-owned small businesses get into the federal government contracting arena. So one of the benefits to become certified under the Women-Owned Small Business Development Program is you, as a certified firm under this program, will qualify for set-asides and sole source federal government contracts. Now, there are well over 60 federal procuring agencies that are familiar with SBA's certification programs, and they're also familiar with these acquisition goals, as you see in front of you. The targeted goals per fiscal year for these set-asides and acquisitions to the federal government for women-owned small businesses is 5%. The small disadvantaged businesses, which is another of our program, is the 8A certification, is also 5%. Our federal hub zone businesses is 3%. And service disabled veteran-owned small businesses is 3%. So these set-asides are reserved for small businesses between the micro purchases threshold of which ranges between 3,500 to 250,000, and these are considered simplified acquisition thresholds. The Woman-Owned Small Business Federal Contracting Program, there are three, I guess, benefits that one who is certified into this program would acquire. Is again, we want these small businesses to take advantage of these annual prime contracting goals and also build their small business through these contracting opportunities, which will eventually help the business grow once you start receiving some of these opportunities. And of course, access set-asides for woman-owned small businesses and the economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business type of firms. Now, under the Woman-Owned Small Business Federal Contracting Program, you will be able to identify, according to your NAICS code, your North American Industrial Classification Codes, which we'll review shortly, you'll be looking at those qualified NAICS codes for these two different, they fall under the same program, but two different certification, which is the woman-owned small business and the economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business. Okay, the Woman-Owned Small Business Federal Contracting Program allows contracting officers from these procurement agencies to make sole source awards to these WOSB or EDWOSBs under specific circumstances. The sole source contracts are subject to thresholds, which it's 6.5 million for those firms that are into the manufacturing industry, who are wholesalers or distributors, and 4 million for either different services, including construction. So basically each year, they'll have to appropriate these different set-asides for the WOSB Federal Contracting Program. Now, there has been some changes within the last couple of weeks. Currently, as of October 15, 2020, businesses competing for the Woman-Owned Small Business Federal Contracting Program set-aside contracts will have to be certified either through SBA's new free online certification process or an approved third-party certifier, and that's for a fee. So currently, what in the past couple of years, those who are interested in this program would have to be directed to certified.sba.gov to apply for this program. Well, they've pretty much changed that website. There's now a new portal, which is the certified.sba.gov, and I'll go over that a little more in detail. But that's what's going to change. That's on October 15th. So the current certification process will remain available for firms until October 15 in certified.sba.gov. Now, those small businesses will still be able to utilize and approve third-party certifiers. The word is that we're going to continue on accepting those applications that are working with these PCs to obtain the woman-owned small business economic disadvantaged woman-owned small business certification. Okay. Now, as you see, these are the certification changes that are happening as we speak. This is a timeline. On May, these new Women-Owned Small Business Federal Contracting Program regulations were published in the Federal Register. So these regulations detail changes to the certification process. As I mentioned to you, this was initiated in July 15, and certified women-owned small business now will have to download their documentation currently housed in the Women-Owned Small Business Program repository. So you will have to initiate that as soon as possible. The deadline will be October 15th. So as I mentioned to you, currently, the portal that is being used is certified.sba.gov. So make sure you download that information and migrate it to the new portal. As I mentioned, is now beta.certified.sba.gov. Firms can begin submitting applications under the new SBA certification process for initial processing, and firms that are third-party certified must create a new account in the new certification platform and upload their TPC certificate for SBA to complete initial processing. And October 15 will be the date where SBA will now be issuing decisions on these certifications. So in the start of this program, they were allowing for small businesses owned and controlled by women-owned to self-certify themselves, but now the agency wants to provide that decision. Certification changes, resources. To stay up to date with these changes, you can visit the website link there, sba.gov/WOSB ready. You can also contact our offices. Currently, all our staff are teleworking these days due to the crisis, but you can always contact us through our emails or even our phones. So we're available for any questions you may have on any of these changes. Of course, we utilize the PTAC. You can also approach them with any questions. And also, we recommend to review our latest information, as you see there in the slide. Okay, what is Women-Owned Small Business Ready? Basically, As you see, there are partners on initiatives like the Challenger, which was introduced previously before these changes, where these programs would outreach those women-owned companies with these opportunities. We've also host countrywide events throughout the U.S. to inform these types of small businesses, expand partnerships with stakeholders, and share updates on social media, and conduct informational webinars. So before all the new changes, these promotions geared for small businesses, owned and controlled by women, have been occurring. Is the Woman-Owned Small Business Certification appropriate for you? And of course, the requirement that a small business, in order for you to qualify, must be owned and controlled by a woman, and the threshold is the 51% ownership requirement. Managerial experience is important. You must have some knowledge in operating your business and conducting contracts, whether it be federal or non-federal. And the woman-owned applicant must also be the highest, must hold the highest officer position, i.e. CEO, president. And of course, there are some proper NAICS codes. We'll go over those shortly. There are some NAICS codes that do qualify for this program. And so we'll take a look at those. Management of daily operation, it's recommended that an owner is managing their small business through the core hours of the day. They recommend that you also perform the 40-hour per week managing of your company. And there's no minimum time in business as related to our other certification program known as the 8A Business Development Program. You can be a startup and still qualify for the 8A program. You'll have to be in operation for at least 2 years. Okay. As I mentioned before, there are two different types of certifications under the Woman-Owned Small Business Program. You've got your regular Woman-Owned Small Business certification, and then you have your economically disadvantaged requirements to qualify. As I mentioned before, there are numerous NAICS codes that do qualify under this program, and some of those NAICS codes, the North American Industrial Classification Codes, qualify under the ED Woman-Owned Small Business certification. If your NAICS codes fall under the EDWOSB, then your personal net worth cannot exceed $750,000 initially. You can also adjust that personal net worth by also deducting your home equity and your business equity. The next criterion is that your 3-year average income should not exceed $350,000, and the fair market value of all assets it's $6 million or less. So, having said that, now the SBA will review these criterions before making a decision of whether you qualify under these Women-Owned Small Business Development Program. The woman-owned small business eligibility process, it is required that you register in the systems for award management. My colleague, Mr. Castaneda, will be presenting the SAM portal and registry, so I'll let him explain a little more in detail. Then you will have to submit your application once you, for this woman-owned small business certification. Once your application is approved through SBA, then you'll have to, as it states there, represent the status in SAM. So you're allowed to go back in that portal and include the certification, the woman-owned small business certification approved by SBA. And of course, I won't go too deep in this SAM portal. I'll let Mr. Castaneda provide that information. But like I said, it is mandatory that if you want to do the federal government contracting, you must register in SAM.gov, which is Systems for Award Management. Okay. Women-owned small business and the ED, women-owned small business set-aside contracts. As I mentioned to you, there is a list of NAICS codes, the industry, that we'll be looking at shortly. Basically, the woman-owned small business certification, the NAICS codes are assigned to contracts in a particular industry where these women-owned small businesses are substantially underrepresented. And for the economically disadvantaged certification, the NAICS codes are also assigned to those underrepresented type of small businesses. So the rule of two, when a contracting officer is seeking a small woman-owned small business certified firm, he is actually going to look at trying to see if he can, identify two, at the minimum, two certified woman-owned small business before he will submit an offer. So you want to keep that SAM up to date for sure, and also provide information on your profile that would help your company acquire some of these federal government contracts. On that part of the SAM registry, you'll be asked whether you're a small business, and if you do respond with the yes answer, you'll be directed to what is called the Dynamic Small Business Search Engine, which is also, it's sponsored by SBA. So in that profile, you're going to, of course, a lot of the information you submitted through SAM will be migrated into that search engine. And there's a section in there, it's a capability narrative. You want to make sure that you describe your company or your products and services in detail, because that's the first place the contracting officer will go to see your capability on these contracts. So make sure that you're specific on your type of products or services that you offer. And of course, the award price, that's always a firm fixed price. So it's very important when you negotiate a contract that you negotiate all the prices, your what's it called, different types of for example, your labor, you want to add the cost of possibly holding a bonding, your liability insurances. So all that's going to be added on your negotiated prices when you negotiate with your contracting officer. Okay, the next slide would be the woman-owned small business and economically disadvantaged WOSB. Sole source contracts. As I mentioned to you, there are some eligible NAICS codes, and we'll be looking at those shortly. And again, fair and reasonable price. You have to, again, provide a firm fixed price. And of course, as I mentioned to you, the thresholds, if in fact a contract is considered for either set aside or sole source, these are the thresholds that do qualify for, as I mentioned to you, the services and construction industry. That threshold is 4 million. And for manufacturing wholesalers and dealerships, the threshold is 6.5 million. If a contract is over those thresholds, then the next step would probably to have a WOSB competitive scenario where they would, at the minimum, as I mentioned before, identify 2 women-owned small businesses that could participate on that actual contract. And of course, sole source, meaning that there's only one women-owned small business or economically disadvantaged women-owned small business that can perform the actual contract. All right, we're at proactive self-marketing. It's one of the requirements on any of our certification programs is that you're going to have to do your own self-marketing, and some of the marketing pieces, of course, you can do it through Facebook. You can do it through your maybe a website, your company website. But normally, these federal agencies do request a marketing piece called, well, they name it capability statement, which is a one-page resume about your company. So you want to have one of those marketing pieces available electronically, because if they request that, if they're interested in your company, rather, they will request that information. So, of course, you want to identify federal buyers and get to know them. Like I said, there are well over 60 different federal procurement agencies out there that are familiar with the goals that I had described earlier. So we also have a buyers list. If you're interested in that, I'll be willing to share that with you. And of course, you want to also identify agencies that are familiar. Well, you want to familiarize with these procurement agencies on how they do business, how they conduct, or what their procedures are, and how they make those decisions on utilizing small businesses. And of course, you want to focus on areas in your niche and prioritize. You have to identify what product or service you can provide that is different from your competitor. And of course, you want to make contacts through small business events and networking with other small businesses, and those are done through our community-based organizations, your chambers, our resource partners who also conduct a lot of these events. But most importantly, you want to polish up your self-marketing activity, and basically, currently we do offer some training on how to self-market your product or service to the federal government. We do conduct what they call the online 7J training. For those interested, you can reach out to me and I can send you the upcoming schedules for those online trainings. Okay. Getting the most out of the Women-Owned Small Business Federal Contracting Program, the ability to qualify for set-aside or sole source contract awards, does being certified under this, our Women-Owned Small Business Certification Program can increase your prime and subcontracting opportunities. Like I said, each fiscal year, these federal agencies must meet a goal of 5%, and they are actually doing that. And they will exceed their goals to try to give these certified firms in our SBA programs that opportunity. And there's also opportunities to establish joint venture agreements. We have our new, fairly new program. It's the All Small Mentor Protege program. If you're interested in that also, you can contact me and I can provide you that information, or you can go to our website and look into that program. If you're looking at doing bigger contracts, maybe partnering with another company, these are some vehicles that you can utilize to do that. And of course, access to training, management, and technical assistance. Each year, we do conduct anywhere from maybe 7 to 8 meet and greets to present these procurement agencies. We've got a meet and greet featuring the Department of the Navy scheduled for, I believe, August the 27th. That will be a webinar from 10 to 11:30. If you're interested in that, we can most definitely sign you up for that. We also have invited numerous other procurement agencies, for example, the Homeland Security, International Boundary Water Commission, USDA, General Service Administration, just to name a few. And during these events, we would allow you to meet with these contracting officers to have you present your products and services. But due to the crisis, we're just conducting the webinars at this time. So of course, we also, SBA also offers guaranteed loans. Of course, you are well aware of the economic injury disaster loans due to the pandemic crisis. So we did offer those loans. And of course, if you're interested in increasing your bonding capacity, we have the SBA Surety Bonding Guarantee Program. If you're interested in that, we also have information to share with you on that. Again, contact us for more information and so you can be informed of any events or any changes to our program, or actually this program, the Women-Owned Small Business Program. You can go directly to that website, the www.sba.gov/WOSB ready. For questions on this actual program, you can also email us at that WOSB@SBA.gov. For technical questions on the Women-Owned Small Business Program repository, you can also, at this time, until October 15th, you can request, or submit your questions rather to help@certify.sba.gov And these are several resources available for small businesses, including the Woman-Owned Small Business Federal Contracting Program. You've got the Procurement Center reps directory in there. We have, of course, the list of district offices. Currently we do have women business centers that can help small business, women-owned businesses. Of course, our PTAC centers, we're fortunate in having 2 PTAC centers in our district area. We also have the small business development centers, and then the SCORE program, which is the Service Corp of Retired Executives. So you'll see all the links in there, hyperlinks, so you can go and visit and find out more information and to request some assistance. And of course, we also have the SBA answer desk, which is 1-800-US-SBA, which is 1-800-827-5722. So what I wanted to do is if I can, I mentioned to you the qualified NAICS codes under this Woman-Owned Small Business Program. If you go to our website, www.sba.gov, you'll see this list in there. This is where I got this list. But as you will see, the list of those qualifying NAICS codes. To the far left, you'll see the code, it's a 6-digit code, and then the description of the NAICS code, and then what certification they qualify. As you will see on that, the first one on that list, it's at NAICS code 115310, and that description is support activities for forestry. I don't think we have any forests down here. Oh, lost the screen here. Apologize. So, and then the far right, you'll see, I think we lost that page here. The far side, you'll see whether you qualify for which certification you qualify. But there's a list in there that you can visit. Let me go to the, all right. And then I mentioned to you earlier about the third-party certifier. That's not what I was looking for. And there are 4 organizations that can assist you with the Woman-Owned Small Business certification program, and they are listed there. Of course, they do charge an associated fee. They do charge a fee for services, and they are listed there. El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the National Women Business Corporation, Owners Corporation, the U.S. Women's Chambers of Commerce, and the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. If you go into our website at www.sba.gov/woman-owned small business, you can see that list, and you can, and these links direct you directly to their website. Okay, and then last thing here, as I mentioned to you, this is the new portal. Like I said, you can begin to start uploading your information from the current portal, which is certify.sba.gov, to this new portal, which is now beta.certify.sba.gov. So you're looking at the new portal where you will have to upload your information, and don't want to say reapply because you're still a certified firm, but you will have to create an account, and the login credentials will be also developed during this process. So as I said, if you have any questions or you need assistance, you can contact me. It's best that you contact me through my email, which is gilbert.solis@sba.gov. And I think I'm done here, Danielle. And I want to thank you all for your interest in our SBA programs. Again, if you want to reach me, you can reach me at gilbert.solis, SOLIZ, @sba.gov. I'll take questions after the whole presentation. I believe my colleague Orlando Castaneda will now present the systems for award management. Orlando.
Yes. There are a couple of questions, and as Gilbert mentioned, we will be going over them after the information for the system for award management presentation. That way, our presenters get enough time to go over their presentation deck. So please hold on to those questions, and we'll go ahead and answer them after the presentation. But now we will welcome Orlando Castaneda, again, who is the part of the UTRGV PTAC program. Hi, Orlando.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us here today. I'm sorry. Can you see my presentation there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Again, my name is Orlando Castaneda. I am with the UTRGV PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. We are located in Edinburgh, but we cover 8 counties all the way up to Eagle Pass. In the past, I guess, when things were normal, we did travel, make visits, sit down with you at your place of business and help you with whatever you may need. You may also, or you could have visited us at our office as well. Right now, what we're doing is we're actually conducting one-on-one meetings via Zoom. That way we are able to address your issues, share our screen with you. You can share your screen with us so that we may work through these different processes of helping you with certifications and registrations and possibly identifying different contracts. That being said, all of our services are completely free to you, confidential. We share basic business information with our funding source. We are actually funded through the Department of Defense, and our program is administered by the DLA, Defense Logistics Agency. Today, we're going to be talking about SAM, the System for Awards Management. This is basically a registry. It is, for lack of a better term, it's basically the federal government's yellow pages. And it encapsulates your basic company information so that contracting officers, purchasing agents may go in there and look for different companies. So who should use SAM? That is basically any entity that is interested in doing business with the federal government. That could be a business owner, contractor, supplier that wants to contract with the federal government, and maybe someone seeking grants. It also includes governmental employees that utilize the system on a daily basis, and also public users searching for government business information. All of this is viewable by the public. So when you do work on your registration, you will provide some sensitive information such as your bank account and routing number. However, this is not viewable by the public. Okay. SAM was instituted or came about several years back. And what happened is the government decided to create this one single portal or repository, if you will, for these legacy systems. They had all these different types of systems that housed all this information with regards to different, for businesses. And what they decided to do was to try and consolidate all of that so that there's only one portal. And so the business owners only needed to worry about one username, one password, one way to access the system instead of having to log into various government databases. As you can see there, some of the legacy systems that were in there were the CCR, the Central Contractor Registration, and the online representations and certifications application. That is mainly what most of our clients utilize the registration for. There's also the awards management side. So now you can go into beta.sam.gov to look for contracting opportunities. Previously, that was the fbo.gov, federalbusinessopportunities.gov. This is also utilized for the excluded parties list, the federal procurement data system, next generation, electronic subcontracting reporting system. So as you can see there, it's various different databases or systems that are being consolidated into one single portal via SAM. Okay, this here, I like to show this to people that may be interested in registering in SAM so that you have an idea as to what you will need to begin your registration. I can tell you that the registration itself will take approximately an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. You will be providing your basic company information, but in general, to get started, you will need your entity's DUNS number, and you can attain that from Dun & Bradstreet. We can provide you with assistance attaining that number. It is free if you utilize it for government contracting. You'll also need your TIN or EIN for your business so that we can get started. And the registration is free. You will have to renew it every year. As I mentioned earlier, it's basic company information. The cage code gets assigned to you once you complete the registration. You will need your financial institution information for the electronic funds transfer. If you are a successful respondent, the federal government does not want to print a check and send that out to you. They'd rather do the electronic funds transfer. So they do ask that you provide your account number and your routing number. Again, that is not visible to the general public. Do we have any questions thus far, Danielle?
Yes, we actually have a question. This person used to have a federal contract using the FBO. However, when they switched to SAM, they haven't been able to get registered. And when she tried to register, she was hit with a charge of $600. However, this is supposed to be free.
Okay. Well, if they had a contract via the FBO, the Federal Business Opportunities, that is actually a contract between her and an agency. It is sounding like she may have used a consultant to help her register in SAM, and that now that she's wanting to renew it, they're wanting to charge her for that. Yes, this is a completely free registration, and there is no cost associated with it. You will have consultants that will help you with this, but they will charge you, and they will maintain or hold your SAM registration, for lack of a better phrase, hostage when it comes to renew, and they will charge you $500, $600, or $1,000 to renew your or reactivate your registration. I hope that answered the question.
She said she never paid anyone before because she didn't want to register and pay the $600. So
Okay.
it's possible that she did go with a consultant, but just didn't know.
What we can do is actually we'll schedule a meeting, we'll go look for her registration and see what the status is of the registration and try to renew it that way. There are also a lot of consultants that will utilize the database itself and say that they can help you beef up your registry, help you get contracts, but they will want to charge you for those services when it is a free registry or registration. So that's something we'd have to look into one-on-one. It's not just a general question as to, yes, this is what's going to happen. It sounds like there may be a consultant trying to solicit services or her business from her and using that ploy there. Okay.
She does. Thank you for that answer. There is another question pertaining to how to re-register for SAM.gov each year.
Yes, the registration itself is good for 1 year. Once those 365 days come and go, you do have to get back in there, make sure your information is up to date, and you do resubmit the registration. At that point in time, they review it again for the IRS validation, and they look at the cage validation as well. You pass those, your registration is renewed, and it's good again for another year. And it's free to renew it, to reactivate it. It's free. It's your registration. You simply have to keep tabs on it, make sure everything's up to date, and renew it every year.
Those are all the questions I see.
Okay. Well, I'd rather just kind of address those as we go, just to make sure we answer everybody's question. But once we do get into SAM, you have your dashboard, which is the My SAM on the left-hand side. It'll help you navigate through the registration. And the system also provides you with a glossary on the right-hand side, which is pretty useful in helping you gain an understanding of the information that they're seeking via their questions. Okay, so when you get into SAM and you're creating your account, there's actually two different types of accounts. You have an individual account and you have a system account. I can tell you from experience that the majority of clients that come in to see us are setting up an individual account for their business. Okay, so again, that is the most, or the one we use the most, the individual account. The system account is a little different, and that has to do more with the information technology systems and the data that they send to SAM. And again, most of our clients are not in that arena as to where they're sharing information to the government. Okay, so in creating an individual account, the system has changed to a dual authentication system. So you're going to have to go into login.gov to create an account to access SAM. So you will need to provide your email address. And we know that some business owners will delegate the creation of their SAM account, to an employee. All we say is that if you do so, please keep in mind, if that individual employee's role changes or if they leave the company, you still need to have access to that email. Otherwise, you will lose the access to your SAM account. So again, make sure that the email address you tie to the account is accessible. Next, you'll have to set up a password for your account. We highly recommend that when we are working on this is to jot all of these notes down, because a year comes and goes and we all have a tendency to forget what email account we may have tied to the SAM account or what password we may have utilized for the account. Next, you will need to provide a secondary method of contact for the dual authentication. We recommend using a mobile phone number, something that you have access to. They will text you a 5-digit code to enter to verify that it is you that are that's trying to access the account. And as we mentioned, the account needs to be renewed or reactivated once a year, every 365 days. Okay. So again, with the individual accounts, you can actually manage roles. You can have someone be the administrator for your account and take care of it and update it for you. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly because at this point in time, most people that are trying to create an account or access SAM are creating an entirely new account, and they previously did not have any profiles, so to speak, set up in any of the legacy systems, such as the Central Contractor Registration or ORCA or the FedReg. So again, it's simply managing the entity and migrating that account into the new SAM. And like I said, most people already are just creating a new account. So again, with the account settings, you're entering the business's information. You do enter your email address. They'll send you a confirmation email, and you'll utilize that link to activate the account, so to speak. And again, this is for existing. What we want to do or cover today is mainly creating a new account. If you do have existing legacy accounts, we can help you migrate those. Excuse me. Okay. An individual can actually request roles, or you can assign roles if you are the administrator for the account. And again, a business owner could do this for an employee to allow them to administer the account for them. And again, here's where you can assign the roles. Like I said, I'm trying to get to what you will need to do to register in SAM. And here we are. With regards to the core data that you provide for your business, you will, as we mentioned with the checklist, they said you needed your DUNS number, your Data Universal Numbering System, which you get from Dun & Bradstreet, the business name, the business address. The cage code will actually get assigned to you when you complete your registration, okay? When you're renewing, if they ask you for your cage code, then you will have it at that point in time. You'll also need your TIN or your EIN for the business and general business information. They ask you what their revenue, the average revenue over the last 3 years, average number of employees over the last 3 years. They will ask you for your financial institution information, again, routing number, account number. They'd like a phone number or an email address for a contact at the bank that helps you with your business account. They don't want to call a general 800 number and try to hunt somebody down. They actually want somebody that works directly with you in case there are any issues in issuing you an electronic funds transfer. Okay, and they do ask you questions if there are any proceedings against your business. Excuse me. So the core data is mandatory for all registrations. And once you've completed the core data, you will review it. And again, once your registration is successfully submitted and approved, your financial information is not viewable by the public. You can opt out to be viewed by the public, but we don't recommend this, as you can use SAM, the SAM registration, as a marketing tool because it gets your information out there. It is a public database. People can find you. You want contracting officers to find you. You want purchasing agents to look for you. So again, like I said, you can opt out of it, but that's something that we don't recommend. And again, as you can see there, if you are an 8A certified firm, an 8A joint venture or hub zone, or if you're applying for one of those certifications, you should not opt out of the public search. Okay, this is what the system will look like. As you can see on the left-hand side, you have your navigation pane or bar, and then the glossary on the right-hand side. Sorry for the quality of these, but as you can see there, you're entering your DUNS number, the business name, the business address. Again, this is very basic company information you have. Once you do submit that, they pull your information from Dun & Bradstreet to compare to the information you've provided to make sure there is a match. And again, I can tell you the system is a bit finicky. It should match exactly. Otherwise, you will run into issues. They will ask you when you started your business, what does your fiscal year run? Is it like the calendar year? Does your fiscal year end December 31st? If you have any different divisions or affiliates other than your main office. And again, just basic information. You will have to provide them with the IRS consent. And again, this is just to make sure that the business is in good standing. So you will need to provide them. That's why they use your TIN or your EIN. If you notice on this slide, you can see over on the left-hand side, that navigation bar. If you notice the green check marks, that shows you what sections of the registration you have addressed. The way it is, honestly, it won't let you advance until you complete a section. So I just wanted to point that out to you. And okay, and then continuing on with the core data, you do provide them with information with regards to the business as to whether it is a community development corporation, most or not. You identify your business structure. If you have any governmental security clearance, I can tell you most of our clients, that is a not applicable at this point. You let them know whether you're a sole proprietorship, a limited liability company, a partnership, a corporation. All of this information that you're providing as the general or core data for your company will later in the registration drive what questions are asked of you. As I can tell you that this registration does take the hour to an hour and a half to complete. However, the majority of that time is spent answering federal acquisitions regulations questions, and we're going to get up to that soon. But like I said, this information here, the core data, is actually pretty straightforward. You can see there that they actually ask you your socioeconomic category, and you can pick from the list. You can see the WOSB there. If you're a minority, once you click on that minority box, it'll give you a drop-down box so that you can pick whether you're Hispanic, Black American, Asian. So again, it's just very basic company information. Once you're advancing, as you can see here on the left-hand side, you can see all these green arrows, and like I said, it won't let you advance until you actually successfully complete the previous or the page. Here you can see the financial institution information. They do want the routing number. I know I keep harping on that, but that's really important. That's actually what takes us some time. It's when an individual has to actually get or call the bank to get their routing number or find out what their exact account number is. So again, that's what takes time. And if you can have that readily available, it just really makes the process go a little quicker. And as you can see, they do ask for your address in case there are issues with sending you an electronic funds transfer. Okay, they do ask you the executive compensation question, and honestly, I think if this were a yes, it'd be a good thing, but most of our clients answer no. They want to know if 80% or more of your annual gross revenues are from federal contracts, or if you've received 25 million or more in gross revenue from the United States federal contracts, subcontracts, loans, grants, sub-grants, or cooperative agreements. And as I mentioned, most will answer no, but I think if that was a yes, I think 25 million or more in government contracts would be a good thing. Okay, and then they do ask you proceedings questions. And this is, I think, I don't know if Gilbert touched on it on his presentation with regards to WOSB. I know he does address it with regards to the 8A certification, but they want to make sure you're a good character or good moral standing. So they ask if your business is basically involved in any proceedings with regards to a contract or business dealings. Okay. Now, via the assertions, you will identify what products or services you provide by utilizing your NAICS codes, the North American Industry Classification System codes. I know Gilbert mentioned these with the WOSB, the Woman-Owned Small Business designation, but we can help you identify your NAICS codes. And via this, you can list. We have some clients that will list one code, some clients that'll list 15, 20, 25 different codes. If you do list multiple codes, you will be asked to identify your primary code. You can actually find this on your income tax return. I think it's on page 3 of your business income tax return. If you're interested, you can also list your product service codes, and we can help you with all of these. Okay, continuing on with the assertions. This information is utilized to determine your size and as to whether you're a small business or an other than small business. So I can tell you that most of the people that we help with this registration, we typically just fill out the worldwide location. They do not, as they don't have any multiple locations to where they'd have to list additional information in there. Okay, and again, continuing on with the assertions, you will be asked if you would like to participate with the disaster relief program. They will ask you for some information, and you'll basically let them know yes or no if you want to participate in that. If you do say yes, they ask you if you're a contractor, what your bonding is. If you have a aggregate, what is your aggregate and what is your single bond limit? They will ask you what areas you would like to participate in the disaster relief program, whether you want to do it in one state, any state, or multiple states. And you can identify there if you just want to do it in Texas. So here is what I was talking about earlier with regards to the federal acquisitions regulations questions. This is what's going to take up the majority of your time when you're completing your registration. And you will answer, oh my goodness, it's various pages with regards to the FAR, but I can tell you that they ask you questions such as whether or not you use child labor, if you've paid anyone to influence a contract or attaining a contract. So again, these are questions that we will answer on behalf of your business. Okay, once we get past all of that, the core data and the assertions of the federal acquisitions regulations questions, you will be asked for points of contact. You do need to fill these out. If you like, you can provide some optional points of contact, but let's go over the basic ones. So for accounts receivable, that is a mandatory. The electronic business point of contact, that is a mandatory. You can provide an optional on that one. For government business point of contact, that's a mandatory. And as you can see there, you can read down the list, but like I said, we can go ahead and help you fill all of that out. It's very basic. It's just your name, first, last, email, phone number. They just want a means to contact you. Okay, now we're actually getting close to the end of your registration. Once you do get to this, this is the SBA Dynamic Small Business Search link. If you click on this link at this time, it'll actually take you away to another, it'll open a separate tab in your web navigation, whether you're using Explorer or Chrome, and you can complete this profile, or you can beef it up, so to speak, by including additional information. The SBA Dynamic Small Business Search does pull some basic information from your SAM registration, but what we recommend is that you actually complete your SAM registration first, get through that process, and then we actually log back in to your SAM profile and complete this. I can tell you that it is important to complete this because we've heard from many contracting officers and purchasing agents that utilize this tool when they're looking or soliciting for a purchase. And if it's not complete or they view it as incomplete, they will simply move on to the next business that provides them with the information they're looking for. And a lot of these contracting officers have stated that they're basically looking for the references. They'd like for you to list references because they want to call and speak to these people before they even approach you. So again, this is with the Dynamic Small Business Search. And the only way to update the DSBS is via SAM. You actually cannot go directly to the Dynamic Small Business Search, access your profile, and update it. You have to access it through SAM. Okay, once we get through all of that, you click submit. It's in their hands now, and they will go through the process. You will get a confirmation telling you that you have successfully submitted your registration. Once they have it, what will happen is, and again, like I said, you've simply submitted it. You're not active. Once they receive it, they actually, again, will do your IRS TIN validation. And again, that's simply just to make sure that you're in good standing, that you don't owe taxes or anything like that. Once it passes the IRS validation, which will take anywhere from 3 to 5 business days, it will actually go to the DLA. I know there it says it's assigned by the DOD, but it's administered by the DLA. They'll assign your commercial and government entity code or your NCAGE code to you if you're in good standing. And this also takes about 3 business days. So if you're lucky, you could submit your registration and maybe within 7 business days, you could get an active SAM registration. So, and once you get through all of that, they'll actually send you an email letting you know that you're active and that you're good to go to conduct business with the federal government. I know that that is a ton of information, but honestly, the most important information you can walk away from this presentation is my contact information. And again, my name is Orlando Castañeda. My phone number is 956-665-7557. And I just noted I'm going to have to go ahead and start adding my email address to this. My email address is actually orlando.castañeda@utRGV.org. utrgv.edu. As you can see there, Hector Landes is our program manager. He is my boss. We are physically located off of Freddy Gonzalez, Expressway 281, and Freddy Gonzalez in Edinburgh. I can tell you that I'm probably not going to have a physical office until about November. Hurricane Hannah actually ripped the roof off of our building, and we sustained pretty bad damage. I think pretty much everything in my office is destroyed. It was all wet. So, but again, please do reach out to me. If you call me, phones are being forwarded to me since we are working remotely. Excuse me. Leave me a message. Please leave me a message with your name, your business name, and what you're interested in looking at. I do try to answer all my calls, but sometimes we're doing presentations such as this, or I'm already having a one-on-one meeting with someone. So please do reach out. If you call, leave a message. If you want to send an email, by all means, just contact us. We can help you work through this registration. We can help you with, your statement of qualifications. We help with the State of Texas Hub certification. We help with the TX.DBE certification. Again, all of our services are free, confidential. We charge you nothing. As my boss likes to say, we are a prepaid service. The federal government has already paid for our services. And as you can see there, those are the different counties we cover. That's it for me, Danielle. I'm done. I guess we can go ahead and answer questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop share so that we can get on here.
All right, thank you so much for the information, Orlando. I'm so sorry to hear about your office. Such a tragedy during this time as well to add onto your guys' plate, and you're still trying to help these small businesses as well.
Well, that's what we're here for. And like you said, it is unfortunate, but luckily a lot of our information is saved on a server. So I still have access to a lot of things. So we're here to serve. We're good to go.
Yes, and we definitely thank you for that. We do have quite a few questions. The first one is in regards to the WOSB website and the update, and if you're already certified on the other website, do you have to go through the verification process again on the new system?
Yes, that's correct. Like I said, the changes will now allow SBA to review, which were once self-certifications. Now the SBA will, like I said, review the applications. So got till October 15th. I think it's the deadline that I'd mentioned. So yes, you'd have to reapply for the WOSB certification.
Thank you.
Now, I have to make a note again that there's a new portal, and it's beta.certify.sba.gov. That's going to be the new WOSB application portal.
And can you also mention the, I guess, the deadline of when that needs to be done?
That deadline is on October 15th, 2020. So you'll have up to that.
Hey Gilbert, it's Orlando here, and I'm gonna show my ignorance because I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So via the beta certify.sba.gov, they can self-certify through October 15th?
Well, they'll have to upload their previous information that's on the current portal. So they'll have to put that information in there, and I guess you could state that it would be a self-certification, but now, as I mentioned to you, SBA will make that decision whether you qualify or not. So in the past, an individual, a small business controlled and owned by a woman would be able to have self-certified through Certify. So that's it. That's it with the changes. Now SBA will have to now review each application through this beta certified.sba.gov.
So then after October 15th, will an individual be able to self-certify utilizing the beta.certified.sba.gov, or that's going completely away and they will have to utilize a third-party certifier after October 15th?
No, well, they got, as I mentioned to you, they have two options.
Okay.
So
that answer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in regards to that, there's actually another question where they're referring to the beta website. And they're asking if this is where new women-owned businesses can get started with certification, or do you already have to have an account through the other website?
No, if you're wanting to apply for this certification, WOSB certification, you can now go into that beta website. So it's, there's no prerequisites. You don't have to register and certify anymore because the application won't be in that system anymore.
There's also another question stating if they need to create a new account through SBA Connect if they already have an SBA account.
Okay, I don't understand the question. It's SBA Connect. I'm not familiar with that program. I'm sorry. Can they elaborate on that?
Cassie, I don't know if you're on still, but can you please elaborate on that in the chat box? In the meantime, there is a other question here. If you offer help, any help filling out the DUNS and the SAM.
Is that for Gilbert or for me?
I believe it's for you.
I'm just joking. No, yes, that's what we do. You know, we will provide you with assistance or guidance because at the end of the day, you're the one that has all of the information, be it personal or on the business. So, for example, with the DUNS number, I think that probably takes like 24 hours. I can show you my screen. We'll show you where to go and what information you'll need to put in there. We physically do not fill out the paperwork or the online applications, but we do provide the guidance and help you answer any questions you may have with regards to the registration or what Dun & Bradstreet may be looking for. I can tell you, I think if you're setting up or requesting a new DUNS number, they simply ask you for two forms of supporting documentation. One of them may be the documentation from the Secretary of State, maybe the IRS issuance letter where they provided you with your TIN or your EIN. But yes, we definitely help with that. Again, that's what we're here for. That's when I tell you, if I'm meeting with a client, I'm helping them work through a hub application or requesting a DUNS number for free, or taking that hour to hour and a half to work through a SAM registration. But yes, that is what we are set up for.
Thank you for that answer, Orlando. There is a question for Gilbert asking what the names of the self-marketing trainings are for the WOSB marketing to federal agencies.
Well, currently we have a program called the 7J Management and Technical Assistance. That's available to any small business. There's no cost involved. If you're interested in the topics and the schedules of those trainings, just send me an email, gilbert.soliz, S-O-L-I-Z, at SBA.gov, and I'll be more than glad to send you the schedules for those online trainings.
Thank you, Gilbert. Another question states if there is a federal contract for child daycare centers. I think this question is important now because of essential workers and COVID-19 preventing children from going to school. How would that apply for federal contracting for these daycare centers?
Well, I would approach the, as Mr. Castaneda, Orlando stated, the beta, the new portal for that replaced FedBiz Office, which you can get some beta.sam.gov. You can get some information on that. You can do keyword search. Even if you know your NAICS codes, you can do the search through NAICS. But any solicitation as far as federal backed requirements or solicitations, they will be listed on that portal. Again, that's beta.certify.gov.
Yes, and I'm glad Gilbert touched on that. That's basically what I was going to say, is that we would need to do a feasibility study or do a little bit of research in the beta.sam.gov to see if there are any existing contracts for child daycare centers. And again, the best way to assess that is utilizing the keyword search or the NAICS code itself.
Thank you. This other question is in regards to the legacy account and if it's a difficult process to migrate the account into the beta website, and how do they get help with that process?
Same thing. We need to set up a meeting so that we can go ahead and walk through it and see if the legacy system is accessible via the SAM registration, via the My SAM dashboard, to see if anything is actually out there that we can import into SAM. But yes, we can go ahead, schedule a meeting and see if we're able to pull that information in their forum.
So those are all the questions I see that have been answered either throughout the presentations or we just answered them right now. But I will be following up with all the attendees that registered for this website to provide you with the information that was spoken about during the presentation in regards to websites, contact information, the NAICS list, and also the video recording for this webinar and the previous webinars that we've had in the past 2 weeks. Thank you both Gilbert and Orlando for joining us these past weeks for the SBA Federal Contracting Series. We really do appreciate your time and getting to inform the small business community here in Brownsville and the Rio Grande Valley, and perhaps even across the United States, as these webinars are now accessible to everyone across the nation. As mentioned, this is the final webinar of the series, but it's definitely not the last time we'll collaborate with the SBA and the UTRGV PTAC office. We definitely look forward to our continued collaboration with these wonderful community partners. Before this webinar, we were actually discussing our future collaborations and webinars that we will be scheduling for October. So be on the lookout for that information. You can follow our website at brownsvillechamber.com or follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. And then also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page by searching for Brownsville Chamber. That's where you can find all the recordings for all the webinars that we've had since we transitioned into the virtual world. We Wish you a wonderful rest of the afternoon and the week. As always, please continue to practice the CDC social distancing guidelines and wear your facial coverings.
Thank you, Danielle, for setting all of these up. Thank you all for taking time out of your schedule to join us on these webinars virtually, as Danielle was stating. And again, if you didn't ask a question and you're seeking an answer, please contact us. Like I said, we sit down, we talk to you, we help you with whatever issue you may be facing. If we don't have the answer, we will direct you to someone that may be able to help you with your issue.
Yes, and same here, Danielle. Thank you for hosting the series. And I want to thank my colleague, Mr. Castaneda, for participating as well. And I want to thank everyone who took the time to listen to our presentation. And I wish you all a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.